Hello everybody, my name is Zach, aka the Weather Gamer, joined by Cameruption.
Hello.
It's been a while. We're doing Underdogs episode 2. Last time we talked about our shared experiences running 3 seasons of APA Indigo. Both Cammy and I are back for Indigo. Maybe it's our last season in Indigo, maybe not. It all depends on what the Odyssey commissioners decide and if Panther sticks his foot down. But,
yep. Hopefully this is our last season, but
yeah, I would like to move up. Yeah, we're just gonna talk some more about APA a little bit, and then if we got time, we'll talk about being underdogs outside of APA. Cammy had mentioned that last time, so we'll see if we can do that. But I still wanted to talk about, because fun fact, in about an hour I play my first match of Season 4 of Indigo, so we'll see if we're going to start hot, if we're going to start the way I always start in APA. With a I think it's with a loss here. I'm pulling up my... Because there's something about APA that is eerily scary with me, and I don't remember the exact... Season 1, I won my Week 1. Season 2, I won my Week 1. Season 3, I won my Week 1. Proceed to lose my next 2 in all 3 seasons. And actually, I think I lost more than that. I lose 3 and then I win 1. So I usually start 2 and 3 before I have an epic collapse.
Okay.
So I should beat Photon tonight if the trend continues. If the trend
based
doesn't,
on the trend. But...
yeah. And you and I don't match up, do we?
My schedule's trash, not in the sense of that I play like ridiculously hard people like usual, but in the sense of I hardly play. I'm looking at my page right now. It's like I don't play you, I don't play Jimmy, I don't play.
Are you saying that I'm easy?
So no, just in terms of like friends. You know, like the originals. Like I don't play Suspect, I don't play Jed.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how I managed to dodge Suspect for the 2nd straight season. Like, he and I have had our go-arounds, but... Anyways, so Cammy and I were talking a little bit before. I've got the roster page open up so we can address all 24 coaches. Cammy and I were talking a little bit about what we were going to talk about on this podcast, and even though Cammy and I are, like, the senior dogs here, I think Jimmy's the only, like, Season 1 coach. Torn. Jimmy and Torn. Was Jed in Season 1?
And, yeah, me and Jimmy came into APA together. Torn was Season 1, and I think Suspect was.
Yeah. Was Jed Season 1, or did he come in after Season 1?
I can't remember. Jed might have been Season 2.
Yeah. But anyways,
maybe. So,
essentially, of the 24 coaches, Cammy and I are 2 of the senior citizens sitting in Indigo. We're the last of the original crew, still sitting there pretty much. That completed 4 seasons. I mean, Jimmy completed 3 seasons. Jimmy, I know, completed his 3. Suspect completed his 3, but Torn dropped out of Season 3, if I remember correctly. So yeah. There's a lot of young, fresh blood in APA. People that I've never squared off with. Pokefan, I've only ever played once. He knocked me out of my last playoffs in Gen 7. Like, he was the last one to beat me down. Thriller, obviously, I've got a history with. Jake, I've got a history with, so I know them. Insanity, I've run up once. Terron, I have no idea. Hacker, I've only run into once, even though, like, he's a mod in APA. I've only ever played him one. Matrix, I don't know who that is. I don't know who Combat Mystic is. I don't know Dix. I don't know Hendo Chad. I know Crow. Obo's name is familiar. I just don't know where I've seen him before. Photon, obviously. Where?
I think he's been in some. I think Obo's been in some other APA things. I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I keep thinking. I keep thinking he's God, what's his name? Starts with OLB. Olgabina? Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
From season 1. I keep thinking that's him. Obo is him, but it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Photon, I know. Jimmy, I know. I've never met Axel before. Aaron 12, I've heard things about, but never met him or played him. Outside of Attorney, I think, vaguely once I played him in Attorney. Blaze, I have no idea. Kane, I have no idea. Suspect, obviously, I know. Nerdologist. So, like, I'm sitting here, I'm looking around, like, where'd everybody go?
Right.
Like, oh, God, who just won? I'm trying to think who... Well, obviously, we know Aurora's gone. God, I don't even have the old docs, so I can't pull them. There's, like, Frost and...
Yeah. Frost.
Shy Guy. Yeah, Shy's gone.
They're really good, like, people like Shy Guy, Rye,
Rye never should have been in Indigo. Just saying, Rye never should have been in Indigo. That never should have happened.
Right. Or, for sure not for... I mean, I can understand the first time coming in as a replacement, but yeah, for sure not last season. He should have been higher, I think, but...
Yeah, but I'm looking around and, like, yeah, I'm one of the senior members. I've got experience here. I've made playoffs in... I think I've made playoffs 3 of my last 4 leagues. Like, I keep opening the wrong doc. I feel like I have the skill. Yeah, let's see. NCL I qualified, WWC I qualified, and AABL. 3 of my last 5, because I didn't qualify in APM and I didn't qualify in LTPL. 3 of my last 5 I've qualified for playoffs, and yet I'm looking around like I'm still an underdog here, and everyone's expecting me to hit playoffs.
Yeah, that's kind of something I was thinking on as well, just in terms of, I guess I feel like kind of like the pressure's on this season, you know, like, just because I think now more than ever I've kind of just like set the bar for myself, and I know that obviously compared to past seasons, you know, it's a bit of a stretch. You know, I'm not even entirely sure what the bar is. Kind of just like some vague combination of playoffs / get promoted to Odyssey / something in there.
Yeah, you and me both.
You know,
I've set my sights on 6 wins because I've never finished with 6 wins in an APA season, and the secondary goal is to make playoffs. Like, because I've made playoffs so much lately.
And I'm kind of just, I guess, just like barely one step ahead of you, just in terms of my record is 6 wins. So now I want to break 0.500.
Yeah.
Playoffs for me ever. So hopefully this is where I turn things around.
Yeah, you and me both. I mean, I'd love to stay in Indigo because I have a lot of friends here. Thriller, Jake, Crow, Photon. Although I don't think Photon's going to be in Indigo for very long. I think he's going to shoot up the board pretty quickly. And Suspect, like, I assume if you and I move up, I'm assuming Suspect's probably gonna jump up with us if he has a decent season.
Yeah.
But, like, for me, as far as, like, pressure goes, I'm trying to find my DM with Panther, because I originally signed up for Odyssey. Like, I signed up for Odyssey, I thought, okay, maybe I've graduated from Indigo, I'm a little more skilled, I'll be the bottom team in Odyssey again. I'm used to holding down the bottom, but Panther's like, nah, I'm gonna move you down to Indigo and keep you in Indigo. And he's just like, 1 solid season from you and we're going to move you up. Like, he wants one solid season and then bam, you're going up. And it's like, Okay, thanks for that pressure, considering combined I've won 8 games in 3 tries. And so, like, I've got the owner of this league looking at me like, let's go, get up here.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? All my people I know how to play are gone. And I don't even play the ones I do know.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. It's in the sense of, like, we've been here so long, but, like, I guess the pool of coaches has refreshed itself too much to the point that even though we're, like, Season 4 vets, it's kind of a fresh start in a weird way.
Well, in New Gen, also,
Gen
like,
2, yeah.
I feel like I did when I first came into Draft League. Oh god, how long has that been? 19 months ago. I feel like I did then, like, okay, I've done a little bit of laddering, I've played Pokemon games, I've never done competitive, and now I'm looking around like, shit, where'd all my mons go?
Yeah.
This, because we're, for those of you that didn't watch my team breakdown, we're not running Nat decks because APA wanted to get off the ball right away and didn't have the manpower to put together a full Nat Dex tiering list right off the bat, so they just went with what was available for Sword Shield, and it's like, what am I, like, the speed tiers, you look at the speed tiers,
Oh my god.
they're so dumb, they're dead.
Yeah.
You have
nothing
in that base, like, the 120s got beaten really down hard. The 116, the 110 to 120s beaten down hard. The base 90s are thinned out pretty hard. And so it's like, I'm building this team and it's like, oh my god, where's all my speed tiers? I have to run so slow.
Yeah, no, like, I've been looking at my team. I have 10-mon roster. I have exactly 2 Pokemon above base 100. Then 2 are at base 100.
Yeah, but one of those you don't generally run a base 100 on, though. Jirachi, I'm just looking at your team comp. Jirachi's looking like it's going to be... actually, you've got Vullaby and Marini and Appleton that can run defensive. You might be able to, like, offensive Jirachi it.
Yeah, that's kind of my hope, is that I can kind of mix and match things. So, I guess segueing into this, you want to go ahead and, like, talk about kind of our teams?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I talked about mine in my team breakdown video about getting sniped out the wazoo, but, like, I'm really uncomfortable with the fact that I have Rabombi at 124, and then the next thing I've got is Rapidash.
Oh, you wait, you have
yeah, we're Rapidash buddies.
Is it? I haven't. Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, no, we both have standard Rapidash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that really bothers me, because I like playing on the faster side.
Yeah, I have Jolteon down to Rapidash, so that's even a couple points higher.
Yeah. And you don't have web support that I know of.
No.
I at least have web support, which kind of might make it so I'm semi, like, when I built this team, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. These speed tiers are all messed up. Do I go back to the old favorites and lean on the crutches again just to try and, like, survive? I don't know, like, it's a mess. These speed tiers
yeah.
I'm just
my team. Yeah, no, speed tier is definitely really weird. It's like, I've just got so many, like, middling speed tiers. And then I have, like, some stupidly slow stuff, and then, 2 fast mons.
Well, before I picked up Haxorus in the draft reshuffle of free agents, I was almost considering just committing to a Trick Room team. Because, like, And I've never run Trick Room before, so I was like, this is going to be really, really awkward and really, really uncomfortable. And, I mean, you can still see the Trick Room elements in that team. I still have Trevenant, which sets Trick Room. Necro for Trick Room. Rhyperior is just a boss in Trick Room. Corviknight's so slow that it might be able to do Trick Room. I don't know. From the get-go, when I started drafting, I immediately started thinking, oh crap, this is APA Season 1 all over again. Here we go again. Because I took Necrozma round, or not Necrozma, I took Corviknight round 1, 5th pick. And man, did I get roasted for that. But I didn't think Corviknight was going to make it back to me. I thought the new mons were going to fly off the board, so I was like, okay, let's just grab Corviknight now. And then we'll pick up Haxorus round 2, and then we'll get a Fairy type round 3, and... yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm
really nervous.
I think your team turned out pretty solid overall. Like, I think I can see why, like, the order you drafted the stuff in was a little weird, but overall it still kind of came together, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna prove that Dartloak should not be a 40-point mon. I'm gonna prove that this season. That thing's getting on the kill board. I mean, I originally was gonna draft that when Dragapult went off. I wasn't gonna get Haxorus. That was gonna be my dragon type. And I mentioned it to the front office, and they're like, "Who's your dealer? Because we want in." I'm like, what am I gonna do down low? Like, of the 40-point mons, there's nothing there. It's literally garbage. Beartick? No. Delbird? No. Farfetch? No. G-Linoon? No. Hakamo-O, okay, that's basically you're in the same position, but slightly slower than Dartloak. Spitfire like Heatmore, no. Standard Manectric, not good. Leafeon, kinda needs sun support. A wild Shy Guy, no. Octillery, no. Raboot was my original pick, and it got sniped. So I was like, I don't know. How often am I going to bring it? Never? Okay, let's grab Dartloak then. But with only 423 mons, well, 416... How many are banned? 1, 2, 3... 4? Okay, 419 mons. Even on a 12-coach pool, that's still hard to pull off.
Yeah, and then I don't know about you, but to me, I found the budget, like, super tight.
It's bad. I agree.
Yeah, because for me, well, actually, I'll just go ahead and throw this out now. My draft plan got, like, completely changed on its head. Like, other than Jirachi, this is nothing really that I had in mind for stuff that I wanted. Because my thing was that I really wanted Jirachi and Weavile, because I was kind of going through some of the things I do good, and I'm like, okay, I like psychic types, I like offensive ice types, but I was like, okay, well, Weavile is going really late, like every draft is because remember, I was in like the stupidly slow draft where we had people getting kicked out of the pool, and that, like, you know, it took like over a day for me to even get my first pick. You know, so thankfully I had people in my front office like Shy Guy, Savage, Hydra being kind of like, okay, yeah, this mon hasn't even been taken yet in Ascension or in Classic or whatever. So that kind of helped me a little bit. So I was like, okay, I'll just get Weavile late. And I wanted to do that. The problem was that I kind of just bankrupted myself early on.
Honestly, I don't understand. Did Panther and the rest of them, like, did they actually try to draft 10 Mons with this point budget that had decent teams, because if not, I really, really would strongly suggest that they redo it for next season, because it's not possible. Like, to put together, to field a decent team, it's not possible. At one point, I was going to end up having 3 40-point Mons, which are absolute trash, just to try and have a somewhat decent team.
Yeah, I wasn't involved with like the tiering process because I didn't want to get any of the new Mons spoiled for me for Sword and Shield. So me and then I think John, a couple of other staff members that were avoiding spoilers, didn't even look at the channel. So I don't know entirely what went down, but we're tight. I was actually considering not taking a 200-point Mon at one point, because I was like, that bankrupts you so hard with only 1,100 points. I know, that was brutal. That was a crucial mistake of mine, because Togekiss got, if you're on the roster page, you can see that Togekiss got taken literally the pick right before me. Which is, so I kind of panic picked and then grabbed Clefable when I really should have grabbed Sylveon, I think, just in terms of points.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way I can possibly afford, 3 tier 1s, because I think Weavile was also in the 200-point tier. So that's like, alright, time to rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, at least of your 40-pointers, you got 2, like, decently bulky Eviolite things. Like, Volibee with Eviolite is actually slightly bulkier than Mandibuzz. And I believe Marini's just slightly under Toxapex.
I got like a little cup defensive core, but, for out of what was there in the 40 points, I think it was probably some of the better Mons.
Yeah, I mean, so again, looking at these, I was like, okay, I needed a fairy type, so I was like, okay, I've got this many points, what can I take for fairy types? And then I look and, oh, Gardevoir, 140, Grimmsnarl, 140, Hatterini, which I was going to try and use for Trick Room, 140, Inteleon, it's like, where am I supposed to come up with these points? You're literally asking me to draft, like, 5 top Mons and then 5 40-pointers that are never going to come. That's how I felt while I drafted. I felt like, I'm trying to put together a good team and have a good season, and I'm handicapped right here.
Yeah, the budget was definitely constraining. I think overall, though, I think our teams actually, I think they turned out pretty good overall. We have some weird Mons, like, I'm really curious to see what Cameruption does. I know Jolteon...
Oh, Cameruption is goat. Wait, do you have Cameruption too? No, you don't. Okay.
No. I don't even know what it does, but I kind of want to see.
So, the most common set you're going to probably see, especially on the ladder, is probably Scarf Surf, Banded Dive, or Spexed Surf. Because if you're Scarfed, you surf, you damage them, you get your Gulp Missile activated, they'll hit you, you hit back and kill them with the Gulp Missile. If the Surf puts them down below 25%, they hit you, even if they OHKO you, straight up OHKO you, they're still going to take 25%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Gulp Missile's actually legitimately broken, because even if they knock you out and you faint, it's still it's like if you double-edged or something and knocked yourself out. Like, it's actually really, really cool. And Cameruption has, in this game, in this format that we have, that base 85 speed is one of the faster speeds.
That's true.
So getting off, like, Scarf Surfs, pretty easy to do. And if you pick up a Pikachu, which I believe is 30% chance, might be 10% chance, I don't remember which one it is, they hit you, they get parried. So now you're slow. It's a form of speed control, basically.
Really interesting.
That's why I grabbed it. And while that and Huff wants to play with the derpy bird, so.
Oh yeah. That just screams a Huff one.
Yeah, it screams Huff. He's already been like jumping all over the place. Like, when do we use Cameruption? When do we use Cameruption?
Yeah.
I wanted to bring it versus Photon's original team. It would have been great. Photon's new team, not so great. I don't know. I'm really, because I look through the list and I see, okay, Hacker I beat last year because I crit him, or last season because I crit him. Jed, it's a 50-50 if I beat him. Just depends on the prep and all that. I should beat Torn. Sorry, Torn, if you're watching this. I should beat Torn. I beat him last time. Last 2 times I've played him. I haven't kept up with him, but as far as I know, I think I still have the advantage skill-wise there. Thriller, it's going to be a 50-50, because he and I always come down to 50-50s. Jake, again, Jake, I'm sorry if you're watching this. I should beat Jake. I've beaten him all but once. Again, I said this last season about Jimmy and proceeded to get 5-0'd by a Virizion. So, like, I feel like I can get to 4. After that, I don't know, because Photon destroyed WWCD. Just absolutely ran shop through there. And I personally think he's already surpassed me and is probably on the same level as you. I know nothing about the rest of my opponents.
Yeah, I'm like looking at your show, and yeah, I have a lot of these people, like Dix, I don't know, Curtin Cat, I don't know, Matrix, Cheyenne, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, Insanity, yeah.
Insanity's good. I will tell you this. Insanity is very good. I think he finished his runner-up in PCF. Like PCF's D League.
Okay.
He's good. He definitely is a good one. Crow obviously is decent. Photon. Thriller is decent. Unless Thriller just brings his unsets again, he'll put up a fight, because Thriller sometimes just brings a really strange set. Pokefan's gonna be tough. I will say this, he's going to give you a hard time.
Yeah.
That man almost body bagged me. Had I not gotten a crit, that man would have body bagged me in semifinals again. But again, that's the thing, like, I feel like my skill's gotten better because 3 out of 5, my last 5 semifinals, the last Gen 7 league that I did, I posted the best record and best differential I'd ever had at 8-4 plus 19 after years of, well, seasons of Indigo where I went 3-10 or 3-8, 2-10, minus 19, minus 25. It's like, okay, we've turned it around. New gen, new people. What am I gonna do? Pressure from Panther, pressure from my friends up in Odyssey, like, hey, you coming up here soon? I don't know. It's like I said earlier, it's literally season 1 of APA all over again. I'm coming in to this, and ironically, I'm carrying one of the kill leaders from that season on my roster this season.
Pokemon.
Necro. Necro was on my season 1 team, and it finished, I think it finished in the top 20. Because I know I had Mega Lopunny up there, and I had Alolan Ninetales up there. And Necro wasn't too far behind. They were like the 3 bright spots.
Yeah, oh my god, season 1 feels like so long ago. Like, well,
Season
it's
1
over a year ago now at this point.
Yeah, it's been a year. Since season 1 started, because I think it started either end of October or beginning of November. I think it was end of October, because I remember sitting in Phoenix last year on my vacation, and there was 1 or 2 matches left, 1 or 2 weeks left, because I had a chance to win my division at 4 and 8 had something gone one way or another, and I was like, oh my god, I'm on vacation, I don't want to think about this, because that would have been my second trip into playoffs ever. But yeah, that was January of this year, when that was going on, so we're well over a year on this.
Yeah. I don't even. Well, no, season 1. That was the original Mega Camel season. And I made a list of just kind of like all my different stuff I've done, and there's some kind of interesting stuff in there. Like, my season 1 team was so whack because I had 3 tier 1s. It was like Bulu, Latias, and one of the Thunderous forms, but Mega Camel and Blastoise carried the entire team. It's like,
yeah,
only I could manage that happen.
That stupid scarfed Blastoise. Yeah, that thing caught me off guard and proceeded to... I'm not going to get caught off guard by that again this season. Like, it's not going to be any of the old mons that get me. It's going to be the new mons that are going to be my downfall if I fall this season. I've been trying to study up, like, so I don't feel like so much of an underdog. I've been watching a lot of Pokemon videos, and it's like, okay, maybe I'll understand. Like, I have a feel for what Cinderace does. Dragapult just comes in, clicks buttons. Galarian Darmanitan comes in, clicks button.
Play that tomorrow.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Melmetal does. I don't know what some of these other, like, top mons do. And the other thing, too, is there's now the move changes. Like, that throws me for a loop. How many times in Gen 7 Draft League did you lean on Hidden Power as a crutch?
Hey.
Like, I need a 4th move, what am I gonna do? I'll slap Hidden Power on it. And now we don't have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Hidden Power is gonna be big. You know, it's... I don't know. But in some ways, I like it in the sense of, like, it's I guess, less 50-50s. You know, it's like, okay, cool, now my Dragon Ground type can actually be a switch into Electric types. Then other times it's like, you know, you're gonna get walled by some stuff for sure.
Well, and for me, like, there are... Sorry. Francis, would you get out from underneath my desk, please? Thank you. Lay down. My dog's trying to get underneath my desk and sit on my feet. Anywho, like, some mons actually really suffer from the no-hidden. Like, what do I do now with Ribombee? Because normally I'd run Moonblast, Bug Buzz. If it's a spec set, I'd run a Hidden Power, and then I'd run U-Turn. Well, now I don't have Hidden Power, so what do I throw in there? Do I now run Sticky Webs on a spec set? And then be forced to hard switch on my counter? Or, like, I don't know. That, not having Hidden Powers is really throwing me off from a special side. Obviously, I stayed away from mons that rely on return because they've gotten a lot worse. But then there's also all the new moves that mons get, like Kyurem Black being banned now because it gets Dragon Dance and a physical ice move. Conkeldurr gets defog. Excuse me, what? Now I have to worry about Conkeldurr defogging?
I just laughed when I saw that. Like,
Yeah, I always try to draft at least cover my typings now, but there were some times where I'd say, okay, I don't need a ghost type. I can skim right here, because while it's nice having a spin blocker, now I have to have a ghost type, because spin not only is boosted, but now you get a speed boost off of it.
I do really like the rapid spin buff, though.
I do too. Like, I agree with it, but it's still... It's something now that I have to consciously think about, okay, do I have a spin blocker now?
I don't. I might need to pick one up.
I do. It's called Dracloak. Not much of a spin blocker.
Yeah.
But then you get things like... Okay, now I have to think about Nasty Plot Gengar, which was something I've never had to think about before. Or... It's not necessarily a problem for me, but Necrozma getting Dragon Dance.
Yeah, that's really threatening.
You've got people that... I guarantee you, because I don't have it this season, but I guarantee you, somebody's gonna fall asleep, bring a dragon type in on... Or not a dragon, a fighting type in on Zeraora, because the only way currently, the only way Gen 7 Zeraora could touch a fighting type was Aerial Ice, Acrobatics, or Power Herb Bounce. Zeraora got Play Rough.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Zeraora picked up Play Rough now.
Cool.
And, like, Coma O is still broken. Like, okay, there's no Z Crystals. I don't have... Even though Clangorous Soul Blaze was banned, you didn't have to worry about Clangorous Soul Blaze. You had to worry about D-Dancing sets. No, they gave Coma O Clangorous Soul Blaze now as an actual level-up move. Yeah, you lose 25% of your health, but it's still an Omni-boosting move. And that's not going to get banned right away. So it's like... I don't know. It's just the combination of the new gen, the new coaches, and the new Mons. I'm a senior here, but I feel like a freshman. So I assume that's kind of where you're sitting too, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, it's like... There's definitely a lot of... there's gonna be a lot of new changes, a lot of new things to keep in mind, you know? You know, it's like all this, you know, but, you know, I think the main thing is to just kind of keep a level head, you know, because similar to you, like, I actually did well in, like, at, like, the very end of Gen 7, aside from APA. I played in Sunset Showdown Gold, and I basically had a crazy end of regular season where I won, I think, 4 out of 5. It made it to playoffs for the first time in a good while. So, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, I've seen that I can, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, this is what I look like when I'm in form, you know, when I'm playing well, you know, but so now you just gotta, like, replicate that. That's not always easy to do at all.
No, it's not. And that's what I've learned, in playing multiple seasons with coaches that I get to know. It's gonna go one way or the other. You're either gonna get to know their tendencies and play them well, possibly win, or they're gonna get your number, and then things like Jimmy beating me last year are gonna happen. I slept on Jimmy, and I fully admit that I slept on Jimmy. And Jimmy dropped the body bag on me, and rightfully so. I deserved that body bag. That was a nice reality check there.
I've now choked against SV Tornado twice in a row.
Don't do it again.
I'm trying not to.
Just win, forehead. You play him week 1. Just win, Forehead.
Tomorrow.
Just win, Forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so we'll see. I mean, we'll track our progress through APA. Cammy and I mean, obviously you guys will see weekly from me. Probably not from Cammy because he's not uploading it, but we'll definitely check in. I'm not ending this. I'm just trying to transition here on Underdogs a little bit. Yeah. I think mid-season we should sit down and talk about where we're at, and I think at the end of the season we should sit down and talk about how Indigo went for both of us as well. Just, you know, kind of a, hey, let's check in and be like, okay, so are we still feeling like underdogs halfway through the season, or are we just blowing it out of the water and we had no reason to feel like underdogs?
Right.
And at the end of the season kind of reflect on that. But transitioning away from Pokemon, because yeah, you can be an underdog in Pokemon, but you can also be an underdog in life. Like, there are several circumstances where what you feel here, or what we feel here, we feel everywhere else. So it's normal to feel like an underdog. Like, you shouldn't feel bad if you feel like an underdog. Just use that to persevere. For example, myself, I started in engineering. I went into college as an engineer. I started doing mechanical engineering, thinking that was what it was going to be for me. I was coasting, smooth sailing, but I wasn't enjoying it. The coursework was a little more than I had anticipated. It just wasn't for me. So I jumped after 2.5 years and went into meteorology. And it was completely different. I lost all my friends were in engineering. I went somewhere where I had 0 friends. I sat in the back of every class. I didn't talk to anybody. I just took my notes and kind of shuffled and got out of there, because I looked around. I was like, because I was classified as a junior in college, or 3rd-year student in secondary education for those of you not in the U.S., with our backward school system, as you like to call it. So I was technically a junior, and age-wise I was a junior, and here I am sitting in freshman courses, and a lot of these freshmen were answering questions that I was like, wait, am I in a freshman course? And it was intimidating. It really felt intimidating the first year I was in meteorology, because I'm looking around like, I am the underdog here. Like, nobody's expecting me to succeed here and to do well, because they've all formed their friend groups. They've all been studying this together, and here I am. They're older than them, sitting here like, what does this mean? What does this mean? Wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
And so, like, but the thing is you don't let that underdog feeling be the driver. You gotta use it as a tool to go like, hey, okay, you're behind everyone else, you're down, but you're not out. Step up, make some friends, get a study group, figure this out. Don't let yourself continue to be the underdog. And you know, by the end of my time in meteorology, when I eventually graduated, the class that I was in when I first started meteorology, I was friends with probably 90% of them. I was doing decent, I could answer the questions, I didn't feel like, oh my god, I'm gonna say something wrong and they're gonna laugh at me. And, you know, it works. You can be an underdog and still pull it off.
Absolutely. So was that, did you change, like, colleges as well?
No, I stayed in the same college. I just went from one side of campus to the other side. And a lot of my courses carried over, like, my Algebra 1, or not Algebra, Calculus 1, 2, and 3 I all needed. Physics 1 and 2 I needed. My electives fit in for you have to have X number of diversity credits and human arts credits and social science credits, and so basically my engineering courses didn't count, but I had the basic program done. So when I transferred to meteorology, I was in freshman courses, I was in sophomore courses, and I was in one junior level course my first semester of meteorology in college, because they were all courses that were independent of each other and didn't require like, because you take one in the fall, one course in the fall. Okay, then let's see, you take meteorology 101 in the fall, you take 102 in the spring. The next fall you take 202. These aren't real course numbers, but just for So obviously I was slowed and handicapped because, okay, I haven't taken 101, so I've got to go through these. But because I did all my gen ed in engineering, it's like I'm sitting in 3 different levels of courses here, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know anybody here. So, but it definitely, my underdog arc hasn't completed on that yet because I'm still looking for a meteorology job, but I know you're sitting pretty decent right now, aren't you? With your...
In terms of IRL job stuff, yeah. Basically, I know it was a couple of months ago when we recorded part 1 that I want to say that in terms of what was going on with my life was that I had an internship at that time.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and then now I have a full-time job. So basically, I graduated. My degree was in environmental sciences, and internship after college, and then basically through the internship, the internship led to the job, not with like the same company or anything, but I was able to kind of just find a job in the same town and quickly get hired on, which is really nice. But yeah, so in terms of where I'm at, like IRL, quote unquote, you know, things are actually going pretty stable for me, which is pretty good. You know, that isn't always the case. I guess if we want to talk about kind of the biggest underdog arc of my life, that would be, and well, obviously outside of mine, because the Indigo arc is obviously still going on, but in terms of real life circumstances, that would actually be, we're going to take a few, I say a few, we're going to take like 8 or 9, or no, not that, yeah, 7, 8 years back to when I was in high school, and that was really where I had my first real experience being an underdog, in the sense of my thing that I like to do in high school was I was in the band, right? And so for those of you listeners out there that maybe you aren't in band, basically if you're in high school, it's like basically your entire life. You know, you live it, you breathe it, you know, you're always doing concerts and auditions and marching and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, I can 100% back you up on that, because trombone player in high school.
Hey, did you just say you're a trombone player?
Yes, I'm a trombone player.
The trombone player.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so trust me, I 100% understand the you live it, you breathe it, you die.
Okay, yeah. So basically, that's actually gonna actually make telling the story a whole lot easier, just in the context of not having to explain as much stuff. But you know, I lived and I breathed band, but there was just one problem, and that was that I sucked at band. Yep. You know, so basically for me, what my deal was that I was super just uncoordinated. I was awkward. Like, you know, I was playing. I was even worse at marching. You know, I got basically my freshman year went by and it was kind of like whatever. You know, it's like, you know, it's just sort of. I'm not gonna keep trying to bring up Indigo, but you know, it's all the time into the story, but you know, in a sense, it was sort of a vibe that I think really similar to what you had said about your first season, where you're like, okay, whatever, you know, I'm new, I'm still getting adjusted to it. You know, it's that kind of feeling for me. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm just a freshman, you know, like, it's, you know, whatever, I didn't get a spot in the show, but, you know, that happens, it's normal, blah, 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 blah. I didn't really think too much of it. But then what really hit me hard was the sophomore year when I still didn't get a spot in the marching show. And that just like broke me. Which now is one of those things where looking back on it, it sounds really silly and like, oh, it's just high school, you know. But at the time, that was like the end of the absolute world, you know.
Yeah.
So basically, I guess if we're going along with the underdog storytelling, that was kind of the rock bottom part, I guess. You know, where it was like, okay, you know, this isn't new anymore. I'm just really bad.
Yeah.
You know, but basically, kind of from there, I was, you know, it's just weird, kind of like looking back on it, just because it's like, there's like this one day in particular that I was like, I'm trying to remember. I'm 22 now, and I would have been like 15 or something at the time, and I still remember it that vividly just because of how much it like messed with me internally. Where it was like just this super like soul crushing kind of defeat thing, where it was like, okay, I've got two options. I'm either just gonna say, screw this, I'm out, I'm not good at it, I'm done, or I'm gonna keep trying, which was kind of one of the biggest decisions for me to make, just in the sense of, you know, that's where, you know, I liked band, you know, I was just bad at it, you know, that's where I was starting to kind of form a good group of friends, you know, and if I quit, then I'd probably be backing out of that as well, just in the sense of losing my biggest commonality, you know. So it was like a lot of pressure on me, but eventually I kind of come to the conclusion, you know what, I'm really bad now, but I'm gonna improve and just see where that takes me, you know, one step at a time type mentality, which is basically exactly what I did. You know, I'm not gonna go super in depth, but basically, you know, it was once I hit the rock bottom, kind of looked up, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna take things gradually and see where that gets me.
Yeah, it's really good hearing that story. It's also really funny because literally I'm sitting here listening to that and like, oh my god, Cammy and I went through the exact same thing. It's like mirrored, literally. You went through in band what I went through in band. We play the same instrument. Like, I get it. Like, this hits hard.
Yeah,
it's like, so cool. Oh my god, I remember, because for me, yeah, I'm old, just throwing this out here. I'm not much older than Cammy, but it has been 6 years since I graduated high school. So I'm flashing back to like 10 years ago I started as a freshman. So it's like, holy shit, I'm old and I know what this is like. And, oh man. Because yeah, I get it. Like, for me as a freshman, we freshman marched in the marching band 3 shows and the parades. But otherwise we didn't march because we were stupid, basically. Like, and we all knew it. But
yeah,
like we'd have band camp before the school year would start, where we'd show up for 3 hours, we'd march for an hour and a half, we'd play for an hour and a half, because usually, 1, it gets the freshmen in, and 2, our first game was usually the second day of school, and it was usually a home game, so our first performance was usually the second day of school, so we needed that we needed like that 5 days to get ready. Day 1 of band camp as a freshman, first time ever out marching. They teach you how to march backwards. Did you guys have to get up on your tippy toes to do that? Yeah. First time I take a step back, I step in a hole and fall. So I'm like, great. here we go again. Round 2. And then, but yeah, I get it, because, like, you're the freshman. No one expects you to do well. Okay, fine. Get to sophomore year. Okay. Now I'm staring, because after marching band ended, you'd go into concert band. They'd hold auditions and all that, and then they'd be like, okay, you either go into the concert band, or you go into the symphonic band, which works with the orchestra, and it's like the top band in my school. So, here I am sophomore year, I'm second to last chair. And I'm like, great, this is fun. Junior year, I'm like 5th to last chair. I'm like, okay, improvement, still not great. And then everybody was like, because senior year I was like, I'm gonna make it into symphonic band. I'm gonna be a squad leader in marching band, because those are, like, you get 3 other people that you're in charge of. You teach them the formation, where their coordinates are. When we marched in parades, you were in charge of making sure they were in line and in step, which to this day, I still wake up some mornings and I'm like, left, 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 from saying it to so many people. It's just like, left, left, get your feet in line. Or when I first started marching band, I had to go in my head, and I didn't play as a freshman. I mentally just went, do that, make it look like you know what you're doing by moving your slide kind of in the right position, so they don't think you're just doing nothing. And then in my head I was like, okay, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, until I had it to improve, to make myself better. And you know what? Senior year, they put me as a squad leader. I was like, yes, okay, validation. Squad leader. On Underdog no more. I am a squad leader. Now, goal number 2, get into symphonic band. And I tried so hard. I had so much stuff memorized, and I cracked under the pressure during my audition. I, like, 2 days later, I went back and I said to the instructor, I was like, I know I can do this. I just cracked under stress. He let me redo the audition, and I ended up last chair in symphonic. I was like, cool, I'll take last chair this time. I will 100% take last chair. And the only reason that a lot of people wanted to say the only reason I made it in there was because I could hit those low pedal notes.
Oh, yeah.
And the first chair in concert band was really good at hitting the high notes, and they didn't want him to screw up his high note capability by making him last chair, because next year he was going to be in symphonic band. And I was like, you guys are full of shit. I actually produced and made it and did it. So I do get your underdog story of being in marching band is just like, go for it. Like, step by step, I can walk with you on this one.
And it's funny because guess what? It's funny because guess what I wound up doing my senior year?
Same thing as me?
More or less. I wound up with whatever you wound up calling, like, the section leader.
Squad leader, yeah. Section leader, squad leader.
Yeah, whatever. I wound up being one of those my senior year, which is really cool. It was like it was a really interesting, like, full circle vibe kind of thing, because that year we had a huge, like, weird, because, like, when I was in high school, there were like 6 freshman trombones, which was like the biggest group, you know, and then other years we only have like 1 or 2 or 3 kids, you know, but I was in kind of this, like, weirdly big class. And then our senior year, the freshman class was another really big one. I'm like, this is weird. And then so that wound, you know, which translated to a bunch of freshmen that were uncoordinated, didn't really know what they were doing. And I'm like, I can mentor these kids.
I will make sure these kids are not me. I will help them the way I was helped.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
I was really...
No offense, you had a small band, because my class was small. For my class of trombones, there were only 3 of us. But in total, my marching band had like 26 trombones at one point, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely bigger than my band. It was...
My band had 219 members in it my senior year, so...
I think yours is like maybe a bit bigger than me. I want to say we had a little under 20, maybe like 18 or 17 people in the trombone section my last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, like I said, that was a really kind of interesting like underdog story. That's hilarious that we were both in band playing the trombone, not very good at it, but making it to a leadership position our senior year.
Yeah, it's
that's hilarious.
It's stunning, and that right there should prove to anybody that's still watching at the hour mark. Small world. It's true. There's a small world out there. You have no idea how many people are actually going through the same thing you are. So don't feel like being an underdog is a bad thing, because if you act on it and you try hard, you can turn that underdog into success. Cammy and I have both done it. I know a lot of other people have done it. So just because you're the underdog now doesn't mean you're the underdog going forward.
Exactly.
So we are at that special 1 hour mark. I do have to go play Photon in 2 minutes, so I am gonna cut. I am gonna cut this episode of Underdogs here. I really want to thank Cammy for sitting down and doing this for the last hour. I've been meaning to do Underdogs more often. It's just between everything else, I haven't had a chance to.
Yeah,
first
I
off,
haven't had
Cammy's a
much of
very
chance
busy.
either.
Yeah. Cammy's a very busy person, and so lining up when I have a podcast open with his schedule, it's whatever. But we will have at least a couple more for sure.
Yeah, I like the idea of at least the 2 more, the halfway point and the recap.
Yeah. And next time we'll have some more band stories, because I've got some really funny things as being a trombone player to share with Cammy, and I'm sure he's got some too. Like, for example, teaser for that next one. Our section, we were called the Boner Blowers. So, but yeah, that's a topic for another time. There's some fun band stories to come out of that. So, but thank you guys for
Underdogs
watching.
Part 3, that one time at band camp.
Yeah, literally that one time at band camp. But yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Please check out the links in the description down below. If you want to come harass Cammy, Discord server, best place to be able to do that. We can get you connected into APA2 if you have interest in joining us in Indigo. Well, if we're still in Indigo. But anyways, any final thoughts you got there before we jump out?
No, I think that about sums it up. You know, don't let your underdog story hold you down. You know, theme of the episode, and it's just a great note to end on.
Yep. So, see you guys next time.
Cheers.